The Seattle Seahawks made a whole bunch of moves today in free agency, a number of them coming on the offensive line, and also one big one reunion on the defensive line. The Seattle Seahawks, they signed a center/interior versatile player in BJ Finney. They signed 2 tackles, Ogbuehi and Brandon Shell, and they also brought back Bruce Irvin, one of the Legion of Boom members. Seahawks are making moves. They're finally making some moves. We didn't see them really do anything dramatic at all in the first couple of days of free agency, but this third day of free agency, they've kind of got some value signings on that offensive line, and what it really looks like is they're targeting the depth of the offense and defensive lines. We'll have to see what they do with Jadeveon Clowney. The report is right now that it's $20 million per year that he's looking for, but Clowney is still out there, and I'm sure that the Seahawks are still in conversations with him. When it comes to the offensive linemen, let's start with BJ Finney. Finney is 28 years old. He is going on 29 years old, but this was actually a really underrated move. He was one of the underrated guys that I liked coming into the offseason. He's on the offensive line, at least. There weren't a lot of big names on the offensive line that were open or available, but this is a guy that started at least a couple of games every year. And when you look at the Steelers, what they do produce is great offensive linemen, and they also typically have really good depth. So this is the case with Finney, where he's played sometimes center in replacing for Pouncey. He's played sometimes guard, replacing DeCastro or Foster whenever they go down. He doesn't play tackle at all, but he does play basically every spot on the interior offensive line, mostly right guard and center. Last year, he played basically only center, and he started 4 games, which was tied for the most he started in a season. So Finney is just a nice, reliable, at the very least, backup center/guard that you can have on your team, that whenever a guy goes down, he'll fill in. But he could also start for you if, the player's not playing up to the standards that you like for one of your starters at center or guard. Finney would be able to replace them and push them out of the job. So I like this move. It's a small move, but it definitely probably is worth it, because when you're talking about the Seahawks, you're talking about a team that struggled on the offensive line for seasons. Now, last year, they were a little bit better. I'll give them credit. And I also like this move because Finney, being from the Steelers, primarily being a very strong, powerful, run-blocking offensive line, I think suits what the Seahawks like to do offensively as well. So there's that move. The next one was Cedric Ogbuehi, tackle from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is a case that's classic around the NFL. You basically give a very small amount of money, small amount of term, and you give it to a player that used to be very highly regarded coming out of the draft, which was the case for Ogbuehi. He was a former first-round pick. And basically, he hasn't worked out for the Bengals. So he was released, he was let go, and a team is going to take a chance on him. This happens a lot with teams like the Seahawks, like the Ravens, Eagles, Patriots. These teams that really know what they're doing seem to take more chances on these type of players, where it's like, okay, maybe he didn't fit your scheme, but there was a reason he was drafted in the first round. He had some sort of talent, and we think we can get it out of him. So that's basically the case for Seattle. Low risk, high reward move for Ogbuehi. The other one was Brandon Shell, which was a little bit more of a cost. You had to spend a little bit more money on him. And Shell started for the Jets last year at tackle. I believe he started at right tackle, but I could be wrong there. But Brandon Shell is going to basically replace what you had in George Fant. And George Fant was your swing tackle. So swing tackle would be a left tackle or a right tackle, a guy that can play left or right. And that's the case for Brandon Shell. He's not going to be like a stellar tackle for you, but what he can do is he can come in maybe if you need an extra blocker on the goal line, or if you need an extra blocker on 3rd and short to get that extra yard, to play tight end maybe. but he can also play left tackle or right tackle if one of your guys goes down. So say Dwayne Brown goes down for an extended period of time, then Brandon Shell can fill in there. A solid signing, a guy that can be that swing tackle and replace what you had in Fant. Fant cost a little bit too much money, and basically what the Jets and Seahawks did there was swap tackles. So there you go. Those are the 3 offensive lineman signings. I like all of them to a certain degree. We'll have to see. The one that's kind of I'm paying attention to the most is Shell, to see how much playing time he gets. But the others, low risk, high reward, or good depth signings. Now, Bruce Irvin is the big one here. Bruce Irvin had a great season last year for the Carolina Panthers, playing more as an outside linebacker type. But of course, Bruce Irvin is going to be an instant fit for this defense because, yeah, he played for this defense before. He knows what it's like to play for them, and they know what his skills are. They know what his strengths are. They know what his weaknesses are. And at this point in his career, Bruce Irvin is still a very good player. He can still ball. He can still get after the quarterback, and that's his main responsibility. Being in Carolina, Atlanta, Oakland, wherever he's gone, he's been able to get after the quarterback and put up sack numbers. And if you do lose Clowney, you do need some sort of guy there. And if you have Clowney, that's another edge rusher that you didn't have last year. You know, Irvin would be better than the second best rusher you had last year. Whether that was Ansah or one of the rookies or Green or whoever it was, he's better than all of those guys. So Irvin, I like a lot. I was seeing where he was going to go. I thought he would go the West Coast, whether that was one of the Chargers, the Rams, possibly the Seahawks, and he did. The Seahawks. He's back home with Seattle. I hope you guys are happy. It looks like he's excited. I know he tweeted out like, 12s, I'm back. I love you guys. So obviously Bruce Irvin's excited. I hope you're excited. Good player, still can play, still has speed, still can get after the quarterback, and is going to add, again, to that rotation up front to the defensive line. And remember, with the Seahawks, when they won their Super Bowls, when they went to the Super Bowls, they were all about building that depth on the defensive line. So this is a step in the right direction for the Seattle Seahawks. And those were the 4 moves the Seahawks made today. Some small ones, but definitely some value there for Seattle.